Welcome, Ultras and Switchy Sisters alike, to episode 16 of the weekly episodic gaming adjacent livestream podcast show. This is Switch to Ultra, live on Monday nights after the weekend. Tonight's episode is smack dab in the middle of the summer and sandwiched between busy weeks. Not only will we be discussing our initial thoughts on Donkey Kong Bonanza as it came out over the weekend, and we've each had a little bit of time to play it to form our initial thoughts some hours in, but also tomorrow, I can't believe it's already here, but time flies when you don't think about it. The July Pokémon Presents, likely to contain a ton of mobile phone announcements and maybe some information on their Switch game releasing in 3 months. And then on Thursday, the release of, and I'm going to read the full name out, Mario Party Jamboree Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Jamboree TV, which aside from the two games that won't be featured in the Pokemon Presents is basically the extent of what we were shown in the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct earlier this year. We are now 3 first-party Nintendo games in their newest console with much to discuss. Welcome to the Switch 2 Ultra family. I'm your co-parent BH Ultra.
And I am your co-parent, Switchy.
And if you saw me live earlier, no you didn't. I'd like to apologize and also be simultaneously embarrassed because yes, I did accidentally go live a couple hours ago while I was editing a video. It made my entire body hot. I was mortified. It had just dawned on me the aspect that I could be working at my computer and accidentally go live. And now I don't even feel safe in my own home now. I'm paranoid.
Oh, that reminds me, I know a lot of people, what they do is they, tape their webcam and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because of, the word that came to my mind is paranoia, but, there's potentially some, if you have, malware or something,
yeah.
you might,
well, paranoia doesn't
yourself.
necessarily mean they're incorrect. It's just whether or not the paranoia is warranted or not.
Yeah. I know a good amount of people that do that, and I've never seen the point because, well, first of all, I have a USB webcam, so it's I can always just disconnect it, but also it kind of makes a light when it's on, though. I guess, one could argue maybe through software, malware, that could maybe fuck with my webcam and make it not light up, but I don't really know if I think that can be done. I don't know. I'm not a webcam expert.
It wasn't the webcam I was worried about. It was that I was just while I was editing, combing through footage and in Premiere and opening up my computer files and stuff, I was just sharing my screen for a good couple seconds. I'm glad I had my notifications on because I got a notification on my phone. It's hey, BH Ultra Turbo is live right now, and I'm like, is it? I didn't know that.
It's oh man, wow, he's always streaming. Oh wait, that's me.
It could have been way worse. Dude, there are I've heard about this horror story over and over again, and I don't ever need to worry about this because it seems so strange to me. And we don't necessarily need to get into it if it's too early in the day to be talking about this. I think that the podcast works in television rules, where the later we get into it, the more saucy we're allowed to be. But there are streamers
we're not going to talk about the Dark Side Phil incident.
Well, not specifically that, but there are streamers that are accidentally they accidentally have a porn tab open. It's one,
yeah.
That's crazy. One, that it's still open on your computer. 2, that you're watching it on your streaming setup. And 3, that you're watching porn on your desktop computer. Maybe I'm too Gen Z brain, but if you have a phone constantly, there is no need to be sitting at your desk doing that. That's so strange to me.
It's doing it in the office. It's
what is your problem, man?
I remember in 2015, I saw a video where a guy is oh, I'm going to play Club Penguin. It's one of those videos where I don't know, some streamer or YouTube funny guy just messes around on Club Penguin for 10 minutes. And it starts off with all right, let's play Club Penguin. And he opens Google Chrome or whatever. And it goes back to literally just opens to Pornhub. Cause I guess he has continue where I left off browser settings, and he just had Pornhub or whatever. And he kept that in the video. He was oh, whoops guys. And then that was just, he just kind of...
You think he was doing a visual gag on purpose, or do you think he just oh, whatever, I'll just leave it in the video?
Maybe he it was accidental, but he's okay, this is funny enough that I'll just keep it in. I don't know.
I don't know where people fall in the morals of Pornhub, if it's bad goons or good goons, are the terms I've been hearing.
Ethical gooning.
Yeah, sometimes you just end up there, but I got a pop-up the other day that's hey, you could log in with your Google account to make finding stuff more efficient. And I just sat there. I'm like, there's nothing I would rather do less than link my Google account to watching porn.
I reminds me, I knew a kid in high school, and yeah, well, I guess he might have been 18 at the
This
time.
was
He was in
last
his
year.
last year of college. He had like Pornhub connected to his school email. So he was checking his school
Jesus
email,
Christ.
and this girl's like, she sees like Pornhub in the fucking like um and she sees like she kind of looks to his like on his Surface Pro, and she sees a Pornhub email, and of course she's like, why do you have Pornhub on your school email? And of course that was a whole debacle. That was a
Tina's
whole
got no
brouhaha.
shame. This isn't exactly the
Yeah,
same
I
thing.
mean,
We were given.
I was afraid of. Oh yeah, you can talk. You can talk.
No, no, you go ahead. I was gonna tell a different
Well,
story
it's
about a
like
friend.
those school emails. Like I was afraid to do. I was afraid to even email my friends on it because I was imagining like any like administrator could go in, log in, and see everything I sent, and potentially log in. I mean, I think there actually are a few accounts I used to have as a teenager that were linked to my school email, and I can't access them anymore because they deleted it
Yeah.
for some reason. I guess I don't know. They don't.
There
they
are
don't wanna
definitely accounts I
deal with
still
space.
use to this day that have like an email that I don't even really know the password to anymore. Like I'm pretty sure my Xbox account that I still have all the achievements and like play games on is a Microsoft email, and I don't know if that is still getting emails. It's so easy to make emails. I've probably had like dozens over my lifetime that I just don't remember, forget about.
I've probably made at least 100. Because especially when I was a
Botted
kid,
the likes award.
I liked making well, no, you don't even need to do that because you could always just like make separate channels under one email. I mean that they started doing that in like 2013.
True.
But I remember before that, like I wanted to have multiple channels, and I helped my friends make their own channels. So I saw that Gmail login screen a hell of a lot,
Yeah.
because I was trying to get my friends to become YouTubers, and also I wanted like a second channel and like a backup channel or whatever, blah blah
Yeah.
blah. So
I mean that's what I
made
got now.
hella emails. Yeah.
I was thinking about that because I was watching old clips or I saw an old thumbnail because people were talking about Free Guy, or a Free Guy clip was being shared around and everyone was talking about how bad of a movie it was, which I agree. I didn't even like it when I saw it. But I like the thumbnail I made for it because I just made it look as strange as possible. And the thumbnail says Freer for gay, and he's got like the Germa face. I'm like, this is a good thumbnail. I don't like this video. And I was saying like, oh man, I'm not really proud of this era. And I remember it being so long ago, but then I looked at the video and it said like 3 years ago. And it got me thinking like, oh,
Does that feel like
I guess that era wasn't that long ago. But the reason I don't have a lot of those videos up anymore, and a lot of them are privated, is less about the embarrassment of those videos, because I'm not immune to just showing where I've come from. I think it's important to kind of see how ashamed you are of your past to be able to move forward. It's less about that and more about like a consent thing. Because, I mean, you said you wanted to make all your friends YouTubers. I wanted to do the same thing, but all of us be on BH Ultra as a group of people who like made sketches, played tabletop games, saw movies, played video games, stuff like that, the like. And it's less about like, oh, I'm embarrassed of this video, I don't want to show it anymore, and more about like one of my friends who's like an engineer or whatever, and I'm like, oh, I like this video. They have like a video of them from when they were 18 because their friend asked them to be in something with them. Like, I think it's a little unfair to them. Also, several of my friends have transitioned since that point, so there's extra layers to that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know someone who recently had to delete a video because for those very reasons. So
So whenever I reuse old
it's
footage like that, I
things,
always try
but
and edit around it or censor the parts that I can.
yeah, definitely. And it's fair enough. I mean, it's just like, because, privacy is pretty important.
Yeah.
I know I'm saying something very obvious there, but like, I don't know, imagine if someone's trying to get a job and I don't know if they were like saying anything overtly outrageous in your video, but they might have, I'm sure they at the very least might have been swearing.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
potentially that could kind of rub some people the wrong way. But I don't know, I've always kind of thought, if that's a problem to someone, then you know what? If I can't get a job because I've said like the F word on YouTube, that I guess I'm just gonna starve on the streets and die.
Yeah,
Like
they don't
that's
deserve my
how I kind of think of.
patronage.
Yeah, no,
I
I'm
just
not.
envision
I'm like
myself always
I'm gonna
doing
be a
this.
martyr.
So
Yeah,
yeah, they're trying to cancel me. McDonald's is trying to cancel me. I'm at McDonald's and say, "Hey, cancel this." It's a
I got
bunch of their
fired from
food.
McDonald's for saying saying Duncan and Courtney is better than Gwen and Duncan or whatever.
Yeah, they showed up to your work, all the stands.
They come
I'm
like they pull it up. They pull that clip up during a job interview or something.
hmm I'm working on the total drama video that I do every year that I hopefully should get out at least by the very tail end of July. And I forget, but I dread it. You know, the total drama fans are a type of way. I think there's just a lot of kids in that fandom because of the
Hmm.
reintroduction of the show. I was checking because I'm vain and selfish. I was checking all my mentions on like TikTok, and somebody mentioned me in the comments underneath a video, and it was some slideshow talking about like the total drama fandom. It's like, yeah, you're old, but are you this old? Do you remember this era? And it was like the Izzy video era, and I was like, God, I'm old. Like, what do you mean that was like 2 years
Do you remember
ago?
3 years ago?
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's kind of funny. I guess, for some people, they're 16 now. That was when they were 13, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe for them, it's
I
kind of
saw
a
another
big,
post of like, oh, this is how old I was when I played Undertale and then Deltarune Chapter 1, and they're graduating with the new Deltarune chapters. I mean, they played Undertale when
yeah,
they were like 10 or something. 10 now.
yeah.
Hold on a second. I'm on to something here.
Well, that's one of the weird things about Deltarune because it still feels like it's just getting started. And what,
Mm-hmm.
7 years? Yeah.
Yeah. I think we
That's kind of
talked
why I
about this,
shat on it
but
a few weeks ago. It's like, and to be honest, it's like, there's like, Deltarune's amazing. It's just kind of, I don't know. It makes you feel old.
yeah, I like it though. I think we talked about this before too, but I much prefer what they're doing now because they already said at the spoilers, but they said that Chapter 5 is going to come out next year, or that's the projected plan, and they just released 3 and 4, and I think there's going to be 7. So I kind of hope they just like release a chapter every year after this point, like 5, 6, 7, and that's nice to have like a year gap. And I don't have any
Yeah.
dog in this fight because I played the first 2 chapters for the first time last year anyway, and I still haven't, in a real sense, played Undertale, at least in any way that matters. But it is kind of
Wow,
fun
really?
to,
I think you told me that, but I forgot.
yeah. Well, because like I didn't have a computer that could play games for the longest time, so I got like a laptop to make videos in 2019, and by that time it was kind of, I mean, by that time it was already on console anyway.
Yeah.
I think I played it a little bit when Deltarune Chapter 2 came out in like 2021. But beyond that,
Hmm.
it wasn't much substantial.
Okay.
I think I'm repeating myself, but not to say that it's like a solved game, but to me, it kind of sounded like, oh, I don't know what I can do in this that hasn't already been like seen or like talked about a ton. But I'm realizing, because I was watching an Iceberg, that there's a ton in that game that I just don't know about. So it would be all new
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah,
But
no, absolutely.
I,
There's a lot of things about that game that I feel like no one talks about.
mm-hmm,
And that are just so interesting and fun. I don't know. I think about just when the game first came out, every single person I knew, we like all had like an Undertale profile picture.
that's awesome.
I remember
Yeah,
and
it's
he
such
got
like a
I forget what it's
collective
called.
moment, and it's fun to see everyone
Yeah.
rally behind that. And I've been thoroughly into the fandom aspect of Deltarune now because they always make such creative things that it makes
Yeah.
me kind of want there to be a sizable gap between chapters, because then it's like, oh, we can look back to
Mhm.
2021 and then 2019, 2018. But I think I do prefer having different chapters every year as opposed to waiting another 3 years.
Yeah.
I don't know if I haven't been
I mean,
anticipating stuff as much. I think when there's major games that I'm excited for, I'd be like, oh, that's the one for sure. I feel like I still kind of feel like that about GTA 6, like kind of getting caught up in it. But this year, for
mhm.
the most part, I was excited for the console launch. But beyond that, and we could talk about the Pokemon Presents, we could talk about Bonanza. I feel like there's not a lot I'm chomping at the bit to play or I'm like super excited for, or even movies to watch.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I would say that I'm excited for Metroid Prime 4, but
Mm-hmm.
part of me is like a little bit dreading it, not because I don't want to play Metroid Prime 4. I'm just kind of thinking like, oh, I still haven't played Prime 3, you
Yeah.
know? And I don't know, I like playing game series in order, you know? I never sometimes it's not worth doing. There are series where it's really not worth doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I like feeling like I know what's going on. And I mean, to our knowledge, I don't think they're gonna remake 2 and 3. If they do, it's gonna be just kind of like they might just kind of like upload a few ROMs to a freaking Switch cartridge or something, Switch 2 cartridge, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and like save us the trouble.
I feel like
And that's the annoying part.
me, there's layers where I want to expand my horizons and play new series. And granted, when it comes to movies, like I did get really into the Mission Impossible series this year, and then last year I was getting into like Dune lore. So it is possible for me to get into things that I haven't experienced before. But I feel like there is a little bit of an issue where it's hard to get into series or excited for game series that you didn't play when you were a kid. Like, I feel like no matter how many times I try and play other series or expand my horizons or play games, like, there are different layers to excitement. Like, I played
Mhm.
Tears of the Kingdom and I played Pikmin 4, and I liked both of those experiences, and I like those series because I played them for the first time leading up to those games, and I had fun. But it's still not the same as a 3D Mario or a Smash Bros. Solely
Mhm.
because of how much time I've dedicated to those games and how much nostalgia there is. Like, it really goes to show that the ones I'm most excited for and feel the most joy about are the ones I played as a kid. Even though there are other games that I'm not going to say are better, but are probably worthy of that same sacrament, sort of, that haven't reached that for me. Like, I have no issues with Pikmin 4, Tears of the Kingdom. I think those are good games. I think Tears of the Kingdom is better than a lot of people give it credit for. But they weren't games that I was like, oh shit, I gotta take a day off work. I mean, this is my work, but oh man, I gotta like dedicate this much time to doing this. Even like Mario Kart World, like I did have a whole thing out of it, but that was more from a streaming standpoint than it was like, oh man, I really gotta play this game. And I'm
Yeah.
wondering if there's any series that can get me to feel like that I didn't play as a kid. Even like
Mhm.
Pokemon, like I'm not super stoked for Legends ZA. I think because I really like Legends Arceus. But there's a lot of that to get into. What I wanted to say real quick, because I was just talking about the streaming aspect, I forgot to say this earlier. That this happened to me, like I did a bit, a very like ironic bit on stream. And I think my roommate or like friend or something said like, "Hey man, you gotta be careful about your digital footprint." And that doesn't really occur to me because I just foresee doing this forever. Because it's kind of
Mhm.
the main thing I'm good at, really. It makes sense for
Yeah.
them to be like, hey, I want to like do something else, so I don't want to like, but is there anyone that's legitimately lost their job or been quote unquote canceled for a dumb joke that didn't like that? Has there anyone that's been legitimately canceled and deplatformed that wasn't like a legitimate predator? Because I feel like
But
people
didn't
throw
they-
that around a lot, and I don't know if it's actually
Uh,
happened.
it probably is mostly people just saying like either doing something predatory or saying something that's like racist. To be
Yeah.
honest, I think that's like the thing that usually gets people fired from their jobs. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I guess there are other things, but that seems to be like if you're gonna if you want to say something on the internet and get fired for saying it. I guess you either do something predatory or you say something racist. I mean,
Yeah, it
that
has to
seems
be
to be
really
the,
bad.
the get the get fired quick scheme. Like,
Right.
I don't think. I mean, to be fair though, there's something to be said. Like, maybe this is just a certain amount of fear that I kind of or developed because people would kind of wag their finger at me. But I do kind of worry is that like, oh, is someone gonna like look at my channel and be like, oh, this guy doesn't seem responsible or whatever. This guy's a
Yeah.
weirdo. Like, I
We
don't
can't
know.
let this guy
But
adopt
I
a
mean,
kid.
nowadays,
Clearly doesn't love
nowadays,
children enough.
I struggle to believe that's gonna be that much of an issue because maybe for like Gen X recruiters or something, like they would probably see like my videos and like be like, oh, this guy, I don't want to hire this guy. He's into like little children things for children.
Mm-hmm.
But like millennials and Gen Z, like I think they'll probably see what I'm doing and kind of harbor some respect towards it. I mean, based on like every person I know in real
They'll have
life
to hire
who
you because of your viewership, because of your numbers,
yeah.
because of your
Yeah.
clout.
Oh crap. So that's my phone, not yours.
I don't hear it at all. But
Oh wow.
I think there's a number of things that come up like that. Not to sound like I'm disconnected, like, oh, I haven't lived like a normal person in years. I haven't had a normal job in years. But I have friends that I've known for a while or just like locally that will sometimes have on stuff or will talk about my job or be on stream, where they're worried about like, oh man, you got to be careful what you say. But I don't think that's an actual issue. And also, I hear this comes up a lot. I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but when I'm streaming with someone who doesn't stream really or do YouTube, and they'll sing a song, like they will sing themselves an a cappella version of a song. And then they'll say like, "Oh, I don't want to get this video like claimed or blocked." Like I don't know if that's ever actually happened. I hear that a lot.
That can happen. That can happen.
Can it really?
Yeah, well,
it would need to be really close.
Well, no, because I've posted cover songs before, and they get kind of they get copyright ID'd.
Right, but these are people singing like a cappella, like just singing the line from a song. But I'll be like on stream and people will sing and be like, "Oh, sorry, you can only sing a couple seconds of it." I feel like there's a lot of YouTube stuff that
it's probably something that you can get away with, but theoretically, it is something that could be seen as copyright infringement. Because that's the thing, is that there's a lot of things people do on YouTube, and I'm not going to state them outright. But you know, if you guys know, you know, there's a lot of things people do on YouTube that's technically copyright infringement, but they always get away with it. And I'm not talking about, you know, the YouTube like the fact that I have clips from shows when I review them. That actually is fair use.
Yes.
But there are things that people do that effectively just kind of bypass the content ID system, and effectively if someone wanted to manually flag them, they would probably be in their rights to do so, but they just don't. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But
I feel like I've heard about a lot of, I don't want to call them like urban legends, but it's the same thing where I see YouTubers still to this day being like, "Oh, I got to be sure not to say like fuck in the first 5 minutes of the video, or else it'll get demonetized."
Oh, that's still a thing. That's still
really?
Maybe
Maybe I've just been incredibly lucky that I've been spared, but I have never.
I mean,
the only video that's ever been demonetized, like not claimed but demonetized, had legitimate like blood and gore in it. So I didn't even blame YouTube.
My only demonetized videos are like the fucking are like reviews of adult games back when I did that.
Like porn games or like games for adults?
I reviewed Honey Pop 2.
Okay.
And that obviously got like
porn game.
That obviously got kind of yeah. So like that's a kind of thing that is obviously going to be claimed, but not claimed, marked. I do know my friend, he was reviewing Slipmaker, friend of the show.
Yes.
He's done a few videos on Dexter, and one of the things is one of his favorite scenes from the show involves, not because of this, but this is just part of it, a character calling another character the C word, which is a specific expletive used at the expense of women.
Right.
And a character uses it in the show, and YouTube just does not let that pass. Like if you say that a lot, I think basically they don't let it fly. And there are a few other terms that they just don't let fly. Where fuck doesn't seem to be that often what's the word? Like they seem to let the F word slide a good amount. But I think slurs in general, even if you can reclaim them or say that you're reclaiming them, they'll often get kind of demonetized too. Which, I mean, in some ways is kind of frustrating, especially because, you know, I've been watching some shows lately. I don't want to say what they are because I don't want some asshole to spoil them. But, you know, sometimes these shows, they do have terminology like that, and because they're not funded like YouTube is, they can do that. They can have that artistic expression.
Yeah.
And they don't have to. They're not beholden to these automatic kind of filtration systems that when kind of applied en masse, it has people saying shit like unalive and graped.
Yeah.
SA. You know?
I remember. I think we've talked about this idea before, but it's weird that I remember as a kid, like, maybe just because I was watching kids networks or like at the worst Comedy Central or Adult Swim, that I was like, oh man, you could do anything on YouTube. Like it's the Wild West. It's not like TV. You could say whatever you want. That now it seems, maybe because I watch a lot of like, you know, prestige television, like stuff on HBO, that it's sort of not switched, but it's changed a lot on YouTube and the internet in general, that it seems the internet is now more, at least from a video content standpoint, that isn't just adult video, is more sanitized than
It is.
TV.
It is.
I remember talking about this
And
in the Adult Swim video as like I think it was a bit in Royal Crackers or something where they said the word rape, and I was like, I don't even know if I could say that on YouTube. Like, it's weird that it sort of switched. People used to fucking talk
Yeah.
about Pedo Bear all the time, like in every video, even if they weren't like a raunchy person.
Well, let me ask, and I'm asking you. You might not know this off the top of your head.
Okay.
Do shows like South Park and Family Guy, when airing on cable, do they still censor words like fuck?
Yes.
Okay, they probably do. Okay, they do that because that's one big thing that I think a lot of daytime. I think a lot of channels they still don't use terminology like that. And I think back in like 2015, that was a key difference because you could say that on YouTube. And before the quote unquote like what we call the adpocalypse, basically that was like really common. I mean, people like to bring up this era a lot, and there's a lot to be said about it, but there was a point in time where I think some of the most influential creators on this site were people like Filthy Frank and H3H3 or whatever. At least when I was a teenager, like those are some of the people that Leafy is here. Oh my gosh, you had these people that were very overtly vulgar and didn't really have second thoughts about
I feel
using.
Like vulgar is an understatement to what was going on.
Yeah, I'm just like I just don't want to be. I'm being cautious with my words because I know this is definitely a heavy topic.
You don't want to call H3 racist in case we end up on his podcast.
Yeah, no, just in case, like Ethan Klein. Dude, I remember this one YouTuber. Never mind. I probably shouldn't talk shit because this guy's
okay.
like bigger than me, but he's like, we're within like a similar magnitude, so I shouldn't shit on him.
Well, could you like get the same idea across with being like vague about it?
It's just someone that hung out with H3H3 and got a lot of shit for it.
Okay.
And that's like it. And I remember that happening and being like, ooh, yeah. Because this was like deep into, I think, it's probably in 2024, like after the October 7th kind of attacks and stuff like that, or the just the modern. Because I mean, one thing. Well, actually, this is me being preachy, just because this is a thing that I fucking hate.
Sure.
Whenever occasionally you'll see memes about like Israel and Palestine. People reposting it from before October 2023, and you'll have like one person in the comments section saying like, "Wow, this aged really well," and it's like,
no,
or like,
yeah,
wow, this was way, or wow, this was way ahead of its time. It's like, no, it wasn't ahead of its time. This shit has been going on for literal decades. We're kind of pushing over half a century here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm late to it too.
This didn't start in 2023.
Up until then, like I wasn't super informed about it. So much so that I just knew it as like, oh, that's the joke you put in cartoons of like the thing you're not allowed to talk about or something. We were talking about it when we were watching the new Rick and Morty last night, that has 2 jokes about it in the season 3 finale. And I didn't like get them at the time. I was really uninformed.
Yeah. But that's just me getting kind of. Well, I think honestly, it is a fair thing to be really bothered by it because this is a serious issue,
right?
And it is a little bit disheartening when it seems that so many people kind of just think this just happened. It's like, I think
overall, I'm glad that more people are informed. Like the average TikToker knows about it, which is good.
Yeah. I mean, not to say that I'm glad that this war is going on, but one thing that does make me optimistic is that I think there's people are a lot more aware of, frankly, the onslaught that's taking place, and like I think the more people know and are aware and are the better. It's instead of this being treated as like
I do
something.
Think there is something to be said about doing things performatively, but I do think there's also a subsect of people that critique performative aspects like that and use it as an excuse to not do anything. Like
absolutely.
I saw someone shitting on someone else. They were talking about someone who was like reading a paperback book, like walking in the street, And for a second, like, my first thought was like, oh god, that is performative. That's so annoying. And then I thought about it. I was like, when's the last time I like read a book? Like that, at least that person is reading. Like I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
It's the same thing when people are in a political frenzy and they're like, oh, why? Or frenzy's not. I feel like that kind of devalues it. But getting upset and saying like, oh, everyone's out here talking about voting. Like voting's not going to do anything. That they're really just excusing their own inaction to be like, I don't have to vote because it doesn't do anything. It's like, okay, well then you're not doing anything at all.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I guess there have been times I've seen people say that like argue that voting is sort of a boycott. Like, hey, if you if you I guess let's say I don't want to vote for Kamala Harris. Or,
Sure.
I'm not saying that for myself. I'm saying it just like things I've seen.
Oh, it's already too late, man. You missed the deadline.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the Democrats have failed their base and consistently sidelined them or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying whatever just because like I'm kind of just these are broad strokes.
Right. You got to put whatever at the end of the sentence, so it lets you off the hook a little bit.
Not because I'm discounting the argument. I think there's definitely an argument to be had, but I'm just
It's like when you text a serious text and then you put LOL at the end of it to try and soften the blow.
Oh yeah, basically. So so the idea that hey, you can argue that this isn't harm reduction, but hey, if you guys want me to support you and help you win this election, you need to fucking do this. Mm-hmm. And I think that's fair, but often what you end up doing, or you're kind of letting the worst guys win. Which I mean, the debate about whether that's worth it or not is one that could be had. I'm not exactly a person who's very good at having it, or very pushed one way or the other. But
every opportunity I've had to vote in my adult life, which is the opportunities I had to vote, has always been the lesser of two evils. I don't think I've ever voted where it wasn't the lesser of two evils. Yeah,
and I guess the idea is that voting is our power, and I mean, frankly, a big part of electoral politics is giving certain voting blocks the things they want to make sure they go out and participate. And I think that often kind of threatening that, hey, you know what, if you're gonna if you're gonna turn a blind eye to the war in Gaza, then you're not getting my fucking vote. I mean, I can kind of see why that. I can see the logic behind that, although I don't want to overtly endorse or disavow it. But, and I think, where was I going with that? Fuck. Yeah, I'm like blanking on why we were talking about that.
It was about like people complaining about sort of like cynicism allowing you to just do inaction, like wokely do nothing.
Yeah, I guess one thing I do think is that although it's not going to happen as soon as it should, I do think there are reasons for some cautious optimism. Although there's also a lot of things that are probably going to get worse.
The old man is very sick.
Yeah.
So what do you think about Donkey Kong Bonanza?
Yeah, yeah. Well, dude, honestly, I mean, I'm not super far in it because I was I was in California for the weekend for my friend's movie premiere.
Right.
Or not actually.
Oh, how'd that go?
Premiere, it was a screening. Dude, it was great. Yeah, no. I didn't realize this because I don't use TikTok that much, but this kind of became a viral thing on TikTok because I don't want to throw. I'm gonna be cautious with my words because I don't want to throw the theater under the bus.
Being very cautious today.
Because I'm very cautious. I'm a very
earlier
cautious
you
person,
said like, oh, I don't want to say what show I'm watching in case someone spoils it. I feel like you probably have way more ops than I do. That has never happened to me before. I don't know who's.
Oh, dude, I remember one time
down.
when I was a kid, I said something. I said that I was watching Breaking Bad, and someone just kind of said a lot of things to me. Also, one of my friends, when A Link Between Worlds came out, I got it. And he told me a bunch of spoilers for that game, which honestly is not the end of the world, but I don't know. Yeah, like, I keep tight lips about certain things. But
I feel like I've only been substantially spoiled on things I cared about like 2 times, maybe, like for like a major movie. Everything else, whenever I do my best to shield other people by just straight up lying. That's my favorite, is to lie in the exact opposite direction. I think I said this, but we had someone in our server who was like watching through Steven Universe, like they hadn't gotten through a lot of it, and posted like fan art of Pink Lars. It was gonna show up in Lars of the Stars, And they asked, like, wait, what happened? Why is he pink? And I just posted, I'm like, oh, no, that's fan art. That's someone's OC. That actually doesn't happen in the show. Just lying inversely.
I think people appreciate that when you do them. I mean, I appreciate it when people kind of just kind of because I like being surprised. But anyway, so yeah, so
if someone guesses it, I'm not gonna be like, yeah, no, you got it right. I'll be like, I don't know.
Oh yeah,
maybe.
no, yeah, no, that's, you do not want to do that. But anyway, so the theater, there was an issue. Effectively, my friend, the director, was put in a situation that there was some money on the line, because I think that initially he to rent out the theater, he had to pay a certain amount, but the theater changed ownership, and suddenly that he had to pay more. I don't want to say too much, because like I think one thing that happened is that he and his girlfriend, they made a TikTok about it, and they basically said like, hey guys, we have a movie screening coming up for our new movie, but we need to sell a certain amount of tickets, or we're gonna, literally be a few $1,000s in the red. And I think the way they kind of stated it, even if they didn't mean it to, because like I was there, I was in the backstage and stuff. The people there were lovely, but I think there were a few like logistical issues that had to be dealt with. But anyway, so like my friend's girlfriend, she specifically made a TikTok essentially to advertising the show, and it got like 1 million views. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. And actually, it's funny. We were walking the streets of Sacramento, and we were passing out flyers, hanging them up, telling people that, this is a local movie filmed in Sacramento. And there were a few people that recognized my friend from TikTok and stuff, which is kind of cool.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. So yeah, no. So there was the turnout for the show was way more than we expected, because I think like my friend John Westling, he's the director. He's told me that in the past, a lot of his screenings, that it's mostly just been friends and family, but like he had a lot of people that had never that were just strangers to him and just were interested in seeing the movie. So it's a really cool movie. It's not out like publicly yet. It's not on streaming services yet, but hopefully eventually it'll come out, because I'm in it.
That'll be fun to watch.
Yeah,
we'll cover it.
But yeah, no.
We got coverage on the ground floor.
But yeah, so I was all over California, San Francisco. Not all over. I was in San Francisco.
Visited every territory in California.
Sacramento, the furthest north. It was a fun trip. I got home 8 a.m. this morning, because we did a red-eye flight, so I'm a little jet lagged.
Oh wow!
But great trip. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it kind of saves us the day where if you kind of do an overnight plane ride, at the very least, like you don't have to spend you don't have to kind of devote a day to flying. So basically, like yesterday I got to see family, we because I have a lot of family in California. So we hung out, had fun, and then we kind of went to the airport and flew overnight, but I don't sleep on planes. But anyway,
I can't either. Like I want to be able to, but I feel like my back is ever so slightly like too long or too short that whenever I try and lay my head on the tray, it's always that my neck is, or my back is too high up or something. It's ever so slightly out of the way. And I feel terrible about leaning my chair back.
Dude, I was about to bring that up, because like just the flight over to San Francisco, it was the first time I ever reclined my chair ever. Because there's like a certain amount of I think some people believe that it's kind of tacky to do that. Some people believe it's it's whatever. I mean, I think on this red-eye flight, like everyone was reclining because a lot of people were sleeping, but I mean, it didn't do much good for me. Like, it was comfortable, it's kind of fun, but it didn't do that much good for me. I was kind of just like literally red-eyed. But some people do recline their chairs, some people don't. I don't know.
If everyone's doing
the guy behind me,
then it's sort of like a domino effect. Because if you do it, then the person behind you's got to do it.
Yeah.
I've never successfully pulled it off. I've never tried, because it's the same thing. I was like, well, I don't want to bother the person. I don't think I've ever been on a plane that wasn't full capacity. Like when I heard about whenever I have people flying internationally and they're like, oh yeah, I have a row to myself. That has never once happened to me.
That's happened to me on a few flights. Like I'm trying to remember. Like going back and forth from Pittsburgh, I've got rows to myself. Chicago too, but
every single flight I've been on has been packed to the gills.
But like Atlanta, yeah, those things are filled. I mean, because like there's a lot of people who fly from Miami to Atlanta. Well, there's a lot of people that fly to Atlanta in general. As they say,
Right.
when you die and go to heaven, you have to stop at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. But anyway, that's a little airport humor for you all. Anyone's
Yeah.
into airport humor.
Got a couple more
But anyway,
airline
so all
jokes
that's to
for later in
say,
the show. Don't you worry. Stick
what's the
around.
deal with airline food? But anyway, all that's to say is that I kind of I downloaded the game so I could play it a little bit on the plane. So I did play a little bit, but I was kind of occupied. So I'm only a couple hours in.
I wanted, yeah, I think it'd be easier. We would think like measuring things in an amount of time, like how many hours you played a game would tell you how much you've done it or how much you've gotten into it. What I did, on the first day, because I've only streamed it one time so far, but Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm going to stream it again, and then the week after, because I got to play Mario Party Jamboree Plus on Thursday, if you're interested in that at all. I think it has Game Share. But I did 6-hour stream, I believe on Thursday, to get as much Bonanza in as I could. And then in my free time, which wasn't a lot of it, when I had a little bit of time, I got a personal account, the same one I've been using to play Mario Kart with friends, so I didn't lose any progress or not show any progress on stream. I played it 2 separate ways. When I did the 6-hour stream, it was my first time picking up the controller and stepping foot into Donkey Kong Bonanza. So a lot of it, if you watch it back, it might be a little frustrating, was me dedicating so much time to doing stuff that I really didn't have to do. Because I like 100%ing as I go. I don't like going back to levels. It's the same thing when I play any other game. Like, I will not leave a level until I have everything in that level. So that way I don't have to go back later. That tracked within the level itself, where instead of seeing everything in the level, beating the boss at the end of the level, and then going back to get everything, I was tracking through the level and basically destroying everything I could. So I don't know how far you got into it, but there is something you get later, an ability you unlock, it's the first one, that allows you to destroy things super efficiently, and it's so fun, and it's so addicting to do. But before I got that ability, I was just digging around as default Donkey Kong. Like, the opening area, the one that only has 3 Bonandium gems, the mines, I spent over an hour in there just digging all around, trying to destroy everything, trying to get up as much money as possible. Whereas when I played on my personal account, I wanted to see what would happen if I just ran through the game. Like, tried to do only progression-based things. Focus on the beating of the levels, doing the only ones that are mandatory. So, while I played 6 hours on stream, I only made it to, I guess, the 3rd or 4th layer? I guess the 2nd layer overall, because there's, like, sub-layers. So I think the 2nd or 3rd layer. The giant open field one. And then when I played on my own, I was running through, and I realized that... Well, let me ask you how far you got, because I think that's what my point was that less about how many hours I spent in it, and more about how far I got. Rather, how far I dug down. I see. Okay, so what I did, like I said, I separated it into...
Dude, sorry, I forgot that I was muted.
Oh,
I'm
no
such an
worries.
asshole. But like, yeah, no, I'm eating carrots, so I need to get a bite of a carrot. But no,
Crunching
so yeah,
big
so
cartoon
for me,
carrots. Tapping your foot on the ground.
like, one of the big things is that early on, I realized that, yeah, I was being obsessive. Like, I was fucking strip mining in Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Yes.
And that was like, because yeah, so I spent the entire first level just like obsessively breaking everything just to get as much gold as possible. And I don't even think gold does all that much. Like, it charges your Bonanza, definitely, and it's kind of fun to keep track, but it's not like that essential. And so I kind of spent way more time than really necessary there, because I am an obsessive game player. You know what I mean? I like all the nooks and crannies, and especially for a game like this, you know, theoretically there's so many ways you can explore, and it can be a little bit overwhelming. So actually, a little bit in, I realized, okay, so this is not a game that I'm gonna have fun with if I'm just like scouring everything the first time I go through.
Yes.
Because that was gonna drive me nuts. Because first of all, I didn't know how like the hint system worked, because like you could like as you get treasure chests and stuff, it'll kind of like basically tell you where some bananas and fossils are. At least fossils, maybe not bananas.
Gems.
Bonandium gems, but they like and that kind of helps you streamline the gameplay a lot more, because I think early on, especially in the lagoon layer, I wasn't really sure, how to streamline the gameplay without it feeling a little bit clunky. But I think what I realized is I like the most fun way for me to play is in broad strokes. So basically, like, I just kind of run around and just do whatever looks interesting to me until there's nothing left to do, because I think I'm almost done with 100%ing the lagoon layer. And at first I was, just like obsessive, but then I just kind of just ran around. I realized, oh crap, I got everything.
Dude,
and that's not how I played games like Mario Odyssey, because
in the lagoon layer specifically, I spent so much time trying to find a way to reach one of the gems that was underneath a platform but way up in the air. Like, I could say maybe a good 30 or so minutes, like, trying to figure that out. It took me so long to raise the water level. I didn't even consider that. I was like, no, before I do the level, I have to get the collectibles. So I was like, I don't know how the fuck to get up there. And I kept trying to find ways to platform over there and game the system a little bit. All I had to do was raise the water level.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny. The water level at first, I'm like, oh fuck, is this going to be some like water temple bullshit? But it's not. It's pretty doable.
I was worried that I would bar myself from getting other collectibles by raising it, but luckily it.
Yeah, me too.
You should just raise it immediately, honestly.
Yeah, and dude, so once I approached it that way, it's a lot more fun, especially because I still had a lot to do when I got the Bonanza. So now, I don't have to strip mine, or if I want to strip mine, I can just do it like super fast. And I think that's actually the reason I started playing, kind of in broad strokes, because I realized, there's upgrades in the game. And at first I was thinking, I wasn't really big on the idea of upgrades. I kind of like, simplistic gameplay in the sense that there's not a lot of like multiplicative effects that kind of change the way the game's played. Sometimes those are kind of annoying to me, or I don't know, there's something great, there's something elegant about games that don't have that to me. Yeah, but like Mario. With that being said, like, I kind of did stick, I realized, like, okay, well, you get skill points pretty fast in this game, and when you get skill points, you can like increase your radar and make your punches stronger. So, like, I'm probably just going to save time and, save time in my life, by, just kind of going, just running and trying to find bananas, like, without worrying about, like the really hidden ones that are hard to find, and just kind of putting myself in a position where it's easier for me to move around, and instead of like obsessively scouring with like level 1 kind of radar and stuff, I kind of beef myself up, and then I obsessively scour when it's a lot easier and takes a lot less time.
Well, what was your loadout for your upgrades? What were you focusing on?
I mean, I'm not far enough where there's a lot of variation, but I think so far what I've kind of worked on primarily, I haven't gotten any of the new movement skills, but like, let me see. I think I first kind of I think I've mostly been getting the punching power, so I can punch through things stronger, and I think also the sonar, because the sonar's handy.
That middle row is what I primarily focused on, because I wanted to collect everything, and I love seeing a checklist and filling it out.
Yeah, and I'm obsessive in a certain way. Like for example, like my strategy for this game is actually, this is how I first played Odyssey. When I played Odyssey, I just kind of like got some moons and messed around, had a good time. And I finished the whole game in a day, but I wasn't like just doing the bare essentials, but I kind of just like, explored kingdoms and was like, all right, I'll go to the next one, and just kind of did that until I beat the game. And then of course, that's when the moon stuff comes in, and there's a whole bunch more. And that's when I started 100%ing. And I think that's the most fun way to play, at least your first time, as opposed to, spending, 4 hours on the maybe that might be a little bit much. Maybe it's not that many.
If you're me.
But actually, no, it actually is that many if you have like 96 out of 100 purple coins and you can't find the last one.
Yeah.
But as opposed to like doing that, your first way through is probably like overkill. You're gonna burn yourself out, or at the very least, I think you're gonna remember the game as being more frustrating than it has to be. You know what I mean?
this game is mainly what I've seen been compared to Super Mario Odyssey and Donkey Kong 64. And I think from a movement standpoint that makes sense for Odyssey, because once you really start understanding how Donkey Kong Bonanza works, it does feel really good to move around and control. Granted, it took me a while to come around to it, because this is going to sound crazy when I say it out loud, because I think we've been trained to believe that is the button, but it's because the A button is jump. And that sounds right, but the A button is the right button on the face buttons, the up, down, left, right. It's the right one. And I always associate jumping with the bottom face button. So I kept instinctively wanting to jump and then just digging down. It makes sense that the left button is forward, the top button is upwards, and the bottom button is downwards. That makes sense, but it is a little bit of a learning curve that, at least for me, because I'm so used to something like Mario Odyssey where platforming is a lot different in controls, it was difficult to get my mind around it. But I think when games like that have untraditional control schemes, it's better to just kind of thug it out and then learn it. Because I saw other people saying, like, oh, you can change your inputs, you could change the controls. I immediately switched around the A and B buttons. But then that means that the A button, the right button, is digging downwards. And I think it's one of those games where you kind of just need to deal with those controls, because once you do, it's a lot more enjoyable.
I mean, there are games that just kind of have like dumbass controls, but I'm usually hesitant to fiddle with it more than like fiddle with it at first, because I think games often, I mean, if they're well designed, the default controls should be intuitive and like really thought through. So and honestly, I mean, Donkey Kong Bonanza, I'm gonna be honest, like, so far, this game is fucking astounding. Like, it's insane. Like, when it's coming out, all the reviewers coming, like, people were loving it, and I'm like playing it, and I think to myself, okay, it's funny. You brought up how with nostalgia, it's hard to feel as connected to games these days, or not. Maybe I'm kind of misquoting you a little bit, maybe, but I'm like playing this game, and it's just okay, yeah. Games like this still exist. You know what I mean? That's kind of like that's kind of an old head thing to say, but I don't know.
Gaming is back. We've done it.
There's something about, I think, Mario games in general, Mario like real kind of, because I mean, honestly, if this isn't like Odyssey 2, it kind of is, but if it isn't, like, it's still made with this kind of approach to gameplay, approach to level design and character writing that is very on brand for Mario, and it really is just everything it should be and nothing it shouldn't, or for the most part. I mean, obviously, you can have nitpicks. People had nitpicks with Odyssey, but I think like Odyssey to me is my favorite 3D Mario. More than 64, more than Galaxy, definitely more than Sunshine. I struggle to get on the Sunshine boat.
Sucks.
But,
I agree. Switchy endorsed.
But I mean, I guess there are things about there are things about the world so far that I'm not super into. I think I like how most of the things in Odyssey, it's buildings and stuff like that, and with the lack of destructible environments, it feels like you're exploring a little bit more than in this one. It's kind of harder.
And also, all the kingdoms are very different. Aside from like the grass ones kind of seeing similar, it seemed like most of the kingdoms in Odyssey almost have like distinct art styles.
Whereas no, absolutely.
Bonanza tries to keep with a consistent theme. And I think that is, I mean, if we're talking about it, one of the failings of Super Mario Sunshine is I do think it's fun to have an entire game that feels like a summer vacation and you could see levels in the distance, but also it lacks variety because of that, because it consists of that theme. I don't think Bonanza has that problem, but I do think it's something that Odyssey does better.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll see what I feel about it. I think that it doesn't, there are definitely differences, but yeah, I mean, like there are a lot of things that made Odyssey so lovable for me that Bonanza absolutely has, and I'm so excited. One thing that's kind of funny, I love like Odyssey and Bonanza gibberish. I love the gibberish so much. Yeah. And it's funny because like Pauline is just the only character that talks in English for some reason.
She's fully voiced, even in just her like text box scenes. Yeah.
And it's kind of weird, but honestly, there are some benefits to it. Although, I mean, I'm definitely gonna be like one of the guys saying that like her performance is weirdly not that good. Like there are lines that just don't really do it for me. But for what it's worth, like voice direction aside, like the personality of Donkey Kong in this game, at least so far, is just lovable.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, dude. I love the way he looks. I mean, I
I
also
love
just
their
love the way he
dynamic.
controls.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
I
like
will say
I mean,
it's strange that she is voice acted, but then one of the songs she sings, I think for the Kong Bonanza, the first upgrade you get, I'm pretty sure it's in Japanese.
It's all gibberish.
Is
Or
it,
I thought it was gibberish, to be
is it
honest.
gibberish or Japanese?
I wouldn't know, and I don't want to sound racist being like
I
saying
think
it sounds
all
like
Japanese
gibberish,
is no. I don't. It's a strange decision to make if that's the case. That everything else is her speaking whatever language it is when you're playing the game, and then the song is just entirely different. I assume they were just Japanese songs, so they didn't have to like translate the song every single time.
Yeah, because that would have been like excessive, really excessive. I kind of thought they were just kind of like vocal ad libs, like not with any meaning, but I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I haven't heard it very closely.
I would believe that if there were, is it? Yeah, I think there was like a Smash Bros. Song where it's either the DK rap or maybe it's Gangplank Galleon, where it is just a lot of gibberish, where they start talking in the part.
No, there are some lyrics, but it's kind of like not really English. English is kind of a I don't know if that's considered like an offensive term. But it is kind of I do kind of like the memes about like let's fighting love, but like there are some there are like discernible words in the Gangplank Galleon, but I'm pretty sure like games like ARMS, a lot of the music has like the kind of like gibberish vocals. So I assumed that was the case, but I haven't really given it a
YouTube
very,
chat's comparing it to Splatoon, and I think that probably used
I
their
was
own
thinking
in-game
Splatoon,
language as well.
But more so ARMS, because I think ARMS didn't have like there was a lot of sound effects. I
ARMS
think one
didn't
of my
have
favorite
lore
sound
reasons
effects
for it to be gibberish, as Splatoon has their own language.
One sound effect I love so far are the eel sound effects. Like I love the way they talk. It's so cute.
It is very reminiscent of those older Rare games. But I think very different comparisons. I think overall though it is really similar to Odyssey. In the sense that what we were talking about, like, okay, so what point in the game did you get to? Do you remember where you left off?
I haven't gone past the lagoon layer. I'm able to go to the next one, but I just haven't like just gone
okay,
yet,
so I'm just on the layer right beneath that, like after doing the lagoon layer stuff. So either way, not super far. But I tried on my personal run, or when I was just playing on my Switch on my personal account, I was wondering, like, okay, if I'm not like going out of my way to collect everything, how far can I get? And you can get really far if you just, it is like Odyssey in the sense that if you want to, I've heard a complaint that it's short, that the game is very short, that you could like knock it out in a day. Sorry. You keep talking, I'm choking.
Oh, you okay? Okay. Yeah, I mean, my guess is that, as someone who I haven't finished it yet, and there's a lot of stuff I still haven't seen. I assume that like if you really, even if you play casually, but just basically just do the essentials, you could probably beat this game in like 3-4 hours. Maybe that's a little bit less, but I'm pretty sure like my first playthrough of Odyssey for comparison was probably like 4 or 5 hours, maybe like 6. I don't know.
That was my second time around where I was like playing it for the channel. I'm like, okay, we need to beat this quickly. So I was being really efficient and only getting the moons that you need. And I think Bonanza is like that, but I think it's more fun to collect everything. And that's where the comparison to both Odyssey and Donkey Kong 64 come into play. I think this is a topic we've discussed before, but it's the argument of when you're considering your review, like your score, how you feel about a game, how much of a collectathon game like that, how much can you judge the game by 100%ing the game? Like, is that required for you to have an opinion? Because for me, I mean, everyone has an opinion. You don't, I shouldn't tell you that you can and can't have an opinion. You can think whatever you want about anything. I just mean from a review standpoint. Because for me, I think there's a lot of games that your feeling towards the game or how good the game is does change depending on if you just played the game or if you 100%ed it. Not that you need to 100% it, but something like Super Mario Galaxy, which playing through the main game I love, but then doing all the purple coins afterwards are really monotonous to me. And if we might as well dunk on Sunshine the entire stream, because I love an opportunity to dunk on Sunshine whenever I can. A lot of the additional collectibles and getting shines in that game are just finding blue coins throughout the stages, and that's not super fun to do. As it is like finding purple coins in Odyssey or fossils in Bonanza. Like, it's just busy work. And whenever I bring those up, same thing goes for DK64. Because I like playing DK64, I think it is a pretty awful game. And it becomes really annoying at parts. Because 100%ing it is so obnoxious. Because there are individual collectibles, I'm sure, as you know, for each character. And you'll need to switch to a different character to go collect those collectibles. You can't just pick up a red banana as DK. You need to be Diddy. And whenever I bring those up, in discussions or arguments in reference to Donkey Kong 64 or Sunshine, the pushback I get is like, oh, well, those are optional things. You can't really judge the game off of that. But I think that 100%ing a collectathon game like that is the game. Like, that is a substantial part of it. So whenever I see people saying that Donkey Kong Bonanza
Especially
is
in
too
games
short,
like Crash Bandicoot, which is 2D platformer, where they actively like make fun of you for not breaking enough boxes and stuff.
yeah, they punish the fuck out of him. They humiliate him.
Beat the shit out of him.
He looks so sad. But the main complaint I've seen, because my main complaint was that the A button debacle and maybe some other stuff. But you could go as fast as you want in this game for efficiency. So, like, yeah, maybe the game is over too quickly if you're just running through the game. But that's why those additional collectibles exist, because this game is addicting. I think Nintendo's really perfected making their games addicting. And something like,
absolutely.
I don't know who theorized it or if it's just a common idea, but a lot of Nintendo Switch games, like on the original Nintendo Switch, were built for pick up and play. Like, specifically Animal Crossing, as we know, but then Breath of the Wild has the shrines that you could, if you don't want to play for a long time, you could just pick up your Switch, do one, and then maybe stop playing. You can knock that out in like 10 minutes. Same goes for like a Mario Odyssey Moon. Like, you could do as much as you want and then stop playing. And then even Pokemon has raids that I feel like this game is super addicting to constantly want to collect things. And it never really gets boring in that sense because you always want to collect those things. But if someone were to run through the game and just beat it in like 5 hours or something, I've been seeing a lot of crazy speedrun techniques. And if we are comparing it to Odyssey, especially there is a lot of movement that's really, really fun. And you can solve these puzzles.
Especially with all of the rolling and, like, the surfing thing.
It feels great.
I assume the surfing, you can do some crazy shit, but I haven't really...
Dude, it's easy to figure out the surfing. It's just a couple buttons. But on the... You're not there yet. It's not really a spoiler. But the layer right below you that I've been exploring recently, it has, like, 5 different signs and, like, mandatory text boxes that keep teaching you how to do the ride, like riding the rocks or whatever. And it's so easy. Like, I don't know why they keep telling me over and over. It's pretty easy to pick up. Like, every NPC on that layer tells you how to do it. But for me, that's what I just wanted to ask you about. Like, how much do you think 100%ing a game or collecting everything is valued into playing the game?
It's a good question, because there are games that, like, the fact that I can't that the game's kind of fighting me when I want to kind of get everything, it does get frustrating. Like, I mean, I never finished Banjo-Tooie. I got pretty close, because I got far enough that I got, like, the Dragon Kazooie and stuff like that, but I never finished it.
Well, that one does require backtracking, right?
I finished the full. I'm sorry, I finished the main story, but I never kind of like 100%ed it. Right. Meanwhile, I've 100%ed Banjo-Kazooie several times. I've 100%ed Mario Odyssey like 3 or 4 times, like the whole way through. And I think in large part because it's like Mario Odyssey, there are only a handful of moons that frankly are first of all, I mean, honestly, I mean, it's a pretty easy game, all things considered, but like there are only a handful of moons that really get frustrating. Mostly the dark side and darker side stuff. I mean, not even frustrating, I would say. I mean, darker side is a pretty fun challenge. Same with a lot of the dark side stuff, although there are a couple ones where you don't have your hat that are really tricky. But I mean, honestly, the only like moons in Mario Odyssey that I'm kind of like, ugh, maybe not like so bothered by, but I'm kind of like not excited to do it, are the like 100 jump rope challenges, because that's like, I don't know, it's easy to kind of like get bored while doing it and then kind of start slipping and stuff like that.
It strips you from a lot of your movement and boils it down to really one thing.
But yeah, I mean, like the Switch era Nintendo, like they've kind of really, as you said, they've made it, and they've kind of like mastered the art of making games that really don't feel sluggish at any points. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it's so easy to kind of run around in games like Odyssey and just always feel like there's something kind of cool to do. At least for me. I mean, I can't speak on behalf of everyone, but that's always been how I felt, and and this game is no exception.
Mhm.
I think like getting into the groove is a little bit different, and I think some people might kind of at first kind of struggle with it a little bit because it's not entirely the same kind of gameplay loop as some other games, but it's definitely not frustrating or unfun. I mean, it is very fun.
Yeah, I haven't played Banjo-Tooie, but I did 100% Banjo-Kazooie, and to my understanding, the difference is that if you want to 100% a level in Banjo-Kazooie, you can do it within the level before you move
Yeah.
on. I think there's backtracking in Banjo-Tooie, like you can unlock everything in a level. There's a
I'm
little
pretty
bit
sure
of
there
that in
is.
Kazooie, but not nearly as much as I've heard from Tooie. And if you
And
want to
in
do that in
Tui, there's
Bonanza,
also like
it's really easy to backtrack. You can basically just teleport to a previous layer if you use one of the worm guys, or the
yeah,
eels.
yeah, teleport. And yeah, that's one of the good
Sorry,
things.
my
But also,
mistake, you're right.
but yeah. But
Get it
also,
right.
I think yeah. Tui also, I think there was just a few extra different challenges, and you can play as Mumbo Jumbo. There are like transformations. You can also split up into Banjo and Kazooie separately, and all those things kind of require like doing a few things to even get to that point. There's just a lot of like running back and forth for things that are a little bit annoying to do in Banjo Tooie for me. I still like the game, but it's just kind of I think it's definitely a game that in some ways in an attempt to get bigger, I think the game just became a little bit too sluggish for itself, as
Yes.
opposed to Banjo-Kazooie, where you just always feel like there's even Banjo-Kazooie. I mean, no, I would say Banjo-Kazooie. You always feel like you're kind of getting something you need.
Yeah.
Um,
I really don't like
but
backtracking or. I'm not the kind to beat a game and then try and collect everything. I like going as I'm going through the game. So the reason,
interesting.
although I have multiple more hours over you, that I'm not really that much farther in Bonanza is because I wanted to make sure I got everything on every layer before I moved on to the next one. And I haven't encountered
Hmm.
anything in the game yet that requires you to backtrack at any point. Maybe it's
Oh
easier.
yeah.
I do think it's going to
I
be
was
one of
thinking
those
that
games
maybe
that's going
there
to be
might be.
really fun to backtrack. Like, imagine going to the final level and then you have your full upgrade tree and you have all the Bonanza modes and then you just go back to the second layer and completely destroy everything.
Well, that's one thing I kind of thought I was thinking about. Actually, what was that? There was something I wanted to say that I'm already kind of blanking on. Well, I thought potentially there might be a few challenges on like the first layer that you need like maybe the bird bonanza or something for, but
Hmm.
I haven't seemed to have found that yet. So
No, not yet. I
yeah.
mean, these are still our first thoughts. Maybe our tunes will change. I feel like we not like soured on Mario Kart World, but definitely changed our tune a little bit later when the excitement died down. That I think
Yeah,
Bonanza's going to be consistently good, even if it is, as people say, maybe on the shorter side. It depends on how much you want to do in the game. But
yeah,
this and Mario Kart were the main ones selling the console. Like, I know Mario Kart wasn't a literal launch title, but Bonanza was only a month later. And I feel like
yeah,
for me, if I was still a kid and I was getting the Switch 2 around Christmas, like obviously I would get the Pokemon game because I just get the Pokemon game every time. But I feel like Bonanza is the one I would want to get because Odyssey is the one I wanted to get when I got my Switch 1 Christmas 2017. I think the comparisons to Odyssey are valid because the game is incredibly similar to Odyssey, but I think for me it's always a game of comparison and it's not doing it favors because I did really like the game, but I don't think I like it as much as Odyssey. The same thing kind of happened
yeah.
with another difference between this pod and the previous pod is this is now a post BH Ultra has seen the Superman movie World. I didn't really talk about that, but that's another thing that not that I got my hopes too much up. Like, I thought the movie was fine. I thought it was good. I don't love it as much as everyone else did, but I think that's because there were so many things I was comparing it to. Because I love the James Gunn superhero movies. I love his DC exploits, and I love the Batman. And I liked Superman. I liked James Gunn's Superman, but it wasn't as good as the Batman. It wasn't as good as the Suicide Squad or Guardians of the Galaxy. It wasn't even as good as Peacemaker, which I've been watching recently leading up to season 2. Like, it is the worst James Gunn superhero movie, but it's not a bad movie. It's just like it's impossible to live up to that. I think the movie is more important than it is good. And that feels kind of unfair to say, but it's the same way I felt about that 2D Looney Tunes movie, The Day the Earth Blew Up, that came out earlier this year. Like, I'm glad it exists and I'm glad it's popular, but overall, I thought it was good, but it doesn't break like my top 10 of this year. It was a good movie. I had fun watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And Bonanza's sort of the same way. I promise this makes sense in my head. That, I'm playing the game and I'm having a great time, and then I see people being like, "This is better than Mario Odyssey," and I'm like, "Well, hold on a second. Let's pedal back on that a little bit." I don't think it's as good as Odyssey. Odyssey just feels better to me and is more artistically expressive, I guess, and both consistent and very varied. But I really like Bonanza. This is the equivalent of the 3D Mario. We have our intro at the beginning of the show that cycles through all those different Switch games. It goes like Animal Crossing, Smash Bros, Mario Kart, Odyssey, Breath of the Wild. Not in that order. And after Mario Kart World came out, I replaced the Mario Kart 8 footage with Mario Kart World footage, and we're going to do that every time there's a new game in all of those series, cycle them in and out, so on and so forth. And I thought about that for a second, like, oh, should I change the Mario Odyssey footage to be Donkey Kong Bonanza footage? Because I do think this is this console's 3D Mario. It basically is in everything but name and character.
Yeah, and everything but protagonist.
Even though the destructive aspects of it make it a Donkey Kong game and its identity there. But and this is, we've talked about before, other people that before Bonanza came out were like, oh, I'm still holding out for like when the 3D Mario comes out. Now that we know for sure that the 3D Mario team has been working on Bonanza, granted, they've been working on it since the Switch 1, and it was going to be a Switch 1 game. So maybe it's been done for a while or something. Also, I wanted to correct something I said last time. I said that the movie design inspired his appearance in Mario Kart World and Bonanza. I'm pretty sure the design was made for Bonanza and then was changed, or not changed, but then it was made in the movie and changed for Mario Kart World. I think that the new DK redesign was originally for Donkey Kong Bonanza. That was always the plan.
Oh, okay.
But it is the console's 3D Mario, and I think if you don't want to play Bonanza, but you want to play a 3D Mario and you're holding out hope, I think you're deluding yourself a little bit. If you already have a Switch 2, like, if you want to play the 3D Mario 3D team, it's Donkey Kong Bonanza. It's basically Mario Odyssey. The text is the same, the way it flows. The controls, more or less, other than the destruction aspects, are the same. The jumping and the rolling and the way you can maneuver like that. That I don't think we're going to get a quote-unquote traditional 3D Mario for a while. So I would argue that Bonanza is the 3D Mario game for the Nintendo Switch 2, as I've been arguing on this show for weeks now.
Yeah. I mean, I kind like what I kind of hope, and maybe this is a pipe dream, is that maybe they'll have like a mid-console, Mario 3D platformer or something like that. Something akin to kind of how, like, maybe like a Twilight Princess, Wind Waker kind of thing, where it's like a new series kind of halfway through, because I guess a new game, because the quote unquote the game that normally fulfilled that niche is a little bit I guess not traditional or whatever. Like a more traditional 3D Mario would be awesome, but I don't know. I'm not really like I'm not putting any chips on the table for that.
Yeah.
It's
you could compare it to something like Luigi's
cool.
Mansion, that they like it's a GameCube launch title and it doesn't need to be Mario because it's Luigi, which is a Mario character. But I don't really think that's an apt comparison because, Luigi's Mansion and Mario Sunshine are not the same game.
Yeah.
I don't know. Also, I don't know if you saw it. I don't know if you could put the footage on screen, but Nintendo's actually been surprisingly open about Donkey Kong Bonanza now, because I thought we would have to wait for the game to release to see who worked on it. But they not only released a bunch of images about how it looked on the Switch 1 before they changed it, and announced that it was going to be the 3D Mario team, but they also showed beta footage where, like, the game was in its infancy and they were developing what kind of game it was going to be, and it's just footage of a Goomba model from Mario Odyssey with 2 floating arms, or hands. You know those that hand boss you fight in Odyssey that you throw your cap at the hand and then punch him in the face. It's like that, just a Goomba with 2 hands digging around underground. Like, that's what the beta version of the game looks like. But I feel like most of the... We haven't gotten far enough to see if K-Rool is or isn't in the game yet, so there's still a chance. And last time we talked about the Untitled Donkey Kong movie project, we now have, not the cast, but they announced the roles of Link and Zelda in the live-action Zelda movie. They're relatively unknown actors that I have no opinions on, other than the main guy, the guy who's playing Link being named Ben. Got a viral tweet out of that, I'll take it. But they do
really? Did you?
Yeah, I posted the screenshot from Ben Drowned where the character select screen says "Your turn, Ben."
Okay.
That was a funny meme because his name's Ben.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
the cast, like, I have no opinions on it other than, like, they're skewing younger than I thought they were, so I might be going for an Ocarina Past style thing where both Zelda and Link are kids, younger. Maybe if they're planning for this to be a franchise, it's like I hate to use this comparison, but a Harry Potter situation where we see the kids age throughout the series.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a fun idea. I always like that, like seeing... I was talking about graphic novels I used to read as a kid in the server last night. And what I really liked about Amulet, which is a series I never finished, is that it starts sort of like Gravity Falls, where just 2 kids and then they find out a bunch of magical stuff. But then they become more entrenched in it, and then by issue 4, they're like teenagers, and one of them has a cape, and one of them has like a sword and a like electric gun or whatever. I always love that trope when characters become more entrenched in the world, and their designs change as they come of age. There are additional online aspects, like Drag X Drive getting a Global Jam demo event in August 9th and 10th. If you have the opportunity to play Drag X Drive, we still don't know when that game's coming out, right?
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think we know.
And then, oh man, wait, there's another... I'm reading my notes right now. There's another playtest program. I don't know if you remember late last year, they allowed submissions for that playtest program that was just like that weird MMO or that weird MMORPG. This might be the same way, but yeah, Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack members. I guess it's a Nintendo Switch 1 online playtest, but is it happening July 21st or is it opening July 21st? Because that's today.
I think it's opening.
Also, today is the last day they're showing My Neighbor Totoro in theaters. I wanted to keep up with Ghibli Fest, and I just have not because I've been very busy. So my Ghibli ranking will remain the same. But as far as the Nintendo Switch lineup of games, maybe a little bit more about Drag X Drive. Maybe we'll get that in August. But the timeline of Switch 2 Ultra episodes here. Next week, we're probably going to talk about Super Mario Party Jamboree Plus. I'm going to play it on Thursday if you want to play it with us on stream.
I might not be able to, but I'll let you know.
All right. Well, then I can at least talk about it. And then the week after that, or the weekend after that week, I will be watching all of EVO on stream. So then when we come back on Monday, I could just give a little EVO recap. And then there's sort of a 3-week gap that maybe Drag X Drive will be released in there. And then Kirby Starcross World comes out, or, you know, the Kirby and the Forgotten Land Switch 2 Edition additional story. There'll be a pod after that. And then I think the week after that, Daemon X Machina 2 comes out. I haven't seen anyone talk about that. Maybe I'll play it, maybe I won't. But it seems like
I don't hear a lot of hype for Daemon X Machina, to be honest. Like,
the first one at all. I remember seeing it in the Nintendo Direct, and people were like, "Oh shit, new IP," and then nothing ever came. I mean, the game came out obviously, but
I thought it was like Xenoblade X for a split second. I remember thinking that, but it wasn't. It was just new, a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I haven't heard like many strong opinions about that game.
Yeah, I haven't heard any absolute radio silence, and I'm assuming now that we'll probably get Drag X Drive sometime in August if they are doing that playtest. And I'm still waiting on that. I forget what it's called. That one mouse game made by, I think, the Snipperclip devs. Oh, man, I forget what it's called. Let me find it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, it's not loading. But there's that game. And then beyond that, we could talk about our feelings about the Pokemon Presents. But before that, beyond all those games, it really just is Kirby Air Riders and Metroid Prime 4. I keep wanting to say remastered. Metroid Prime 4 subtitle. And we still don't have a release date for Metroid Prime 4, even though a couple weeks back they started having, or posters started appearing on underground subways. That's probably a misnomer. I could just say subways. that said coming soon or like out now or something, which led people to believe that it would be releasing soon. But after the summer, it seems like there's a little bit of a gap. I think there's a chance we get a September direct. I don't think we're ever, or not ever, but I don't think we're going to get a summer direct. I think everything they want to show off in the summer has already been shown off. Or there might not even be a direct again. Maybe they just announce everything on the Nintendo Today app. That seems like a misfire on their part, if that is what they're doing. And most realistically, if they do that, is people will dislike it, and then they'll renege on that and just start doing directs again because nobody gets Nintendo Today app. But
I think the culture of directs is like too important to them.
It's fun to
I'd be surprised if they try and get rid of it.
I don't think I'm gonna watch the Pokemon Presents live. I think I'm just gonna wake up and then on stream I'm gonna watch it.
What time is it? 9 a.m.
It probably is like some early thing, but are you expecting anything in the Pokemon Presents? I'm hoping that it does really sell me on ZA. I'm gonna get it regardless, but I've been woefully not excited for ZA.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm excited just because I like Pokemon, but I'm not really holding out a lot of hope that it's going to be particularly great. I mean, I don't like the art direction that much. I'm not really that into the gameplay style, and it doesn't really seem like something that I'm going to have that much fun with. But I could be wrong. I could find myself liking it a lot. I am excited that Pansear and Pansage are coming back.
True. Patrat, got them all. For me, I agree, but for a different reason. For the opposite reason, actually, is that I really loved the gameplay loop of the Legends games, of Legends Arceus.
I liked Arceus. I liked Arceus, but I feel like this one's not going to kind of scratch the same itch. I don't know.
No, yeah. No, I agree. I'm a little disappointed because I was expecting a Legends game, because Legends Arceus, I think at least did well or was good PR. I think it's the best Pokemon game on the Switch and the best Pokemon game in a while. And
yeah, I think it's probably the game that had the least discourse of the last few years.
Yeah, and the fact that ZA doesn't really seem to be anything like that, I haven't been fully sold on it. Using the term sold probably isn't fair because, I'm going to stream it. I'm going to get it anyway. It's a new Pokemon game. I'm just a Nintendo show. But I hope there's something there that gets me re-excited for it, because aside from everything else is additional add-ons and sequels, I suppose. Maybe I'm not super excited for Drag X Drive, but now that Bonanza and Mario Kart World are out and we don't know the other release dates, and we know very little information about either of those games, like I was about to say we haven't seen gameplay. We haven't seen gameplay of Kirby Air Riders. We have seen gameplay of Metroid Prime. That was even at the Treehouse, so it's weird that we still don't have a release date for that. But I hope in that section or in that area of the schedule, like October, I feel like there's not another major game coming out, at least on the Nintendo Switch 2 side of things, or just the Nintendo Switch family of systems in general, that I hope something in the Presents excites me for it. I think there's a chance that maybe they announce a later game or maybe more information about other games. I mean, I made the joke in the intro that I know most of the Presents is going to be dedicated to talking about their mobile games. Because they're always like, I don't think they've said how long it's going to be, but they're always like 40-minute Presents, and only some of it is the game people want to see.
I think it's 25 minutes. I think it's 25.
Okay, that's good. So maybe the whole thing will be dedicated to ZA because it's coming out in a couple months after.
No, I doubt it. I think that seemed, well, I mean, I guess this isn't like the Pokemon Day presentation, but I assume it's going to be a lot of like supplemental stuff. It's probably going to be like a Netflix. Do you think we'll see anything
more about what's it called, Pokemon Champions? Is that the...
I think so. I think we'll probably get some information about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not expecting Gen 10. I am expecting mobile games, and honestly, I'm expecting like some information on Mega Evolutions in ZA, because I think I would be incredibly surprised if there are no like new Mega Evolutions. That'd be kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there are some leaks, but I don't really know if they're real. I think they might just be fake. But
do you want to delve into that? Because I feel like you've been kind of like chipping away at it and like bringing it up ever so slightly on stream about the Mega leaks. I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah, so it's probably just kind of bullshit. I feel like if it was real, there'd be a little bit more buzz around it.
Well, that's more of a reason to discuss it, because then it's not even spoilers.
Yeah, I can like send you the link to it if you want.
I mean, do you have it? Do you want to just like explain what you've seen so far?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's an alleged list. I mean, I'm like, I don't know, are people going to be bothered by me talking about it? Because in the case that is like,
I don't think it's true.
Actually,
I think it's probably not true.
Because there's like an alleged list that Central Leaks posted of all the Mega Evolutions in the game.
And is it like from
And
anywhere, or is because like in my experience, I don't want to start any shit, but Central Leaks is a verified Twitter account, like with the blue check mark, that gets leaks from other Twitter accounts and posts them on their account for engagement purposes. I don't think it's actually a leaker. I think it's a leak hub from other places.
You might be right. I might just be like...
I mean, if you think it's accurate in spoilers, we don't have to talk about it. But I'm pretty... I don't even know what it is, but I'm almost certain that leak is not accurate. Because very seldom
I hope
Pokemon
it is
leaks
accurate, because one of the Pokemon listed is Dragonite, and I want a Mega Dragonite really bad. There's also...
What would be the item called that you get for it?
Dragonite.
That rules.
That'd be funny.
What's
That'd
the
be
list
so
of
awesome.
yeah, shoot me the list, or just read the list off to me, and I'll do yay or nay.
Okay. Also, I'll send you the alleged Mega Dragalge.
Oh, they're images?
Yeah, there's like one like alleged leak of a Mega Dragalge.
Ooh, image review. Because I know there was that, we talked about this, that Mega for alligator that was like a blurry image, and that ended up not being true. Oh, I see. This is a 3D model. Oh, wait, is it? No, this is 2D art, I believe, of a Mega Dragalge. I'll send this to whoever's editing this, and then you could place it on screen. It looks cool. I'm realizing I forget what Dragalge looks like. I don't think it looks much like this.
It looks like the palm tree character from Foster's Home from Imaginary Friends.
Coco?
Yeah, it looks like Coco.
Shout out.
Forget.
Well, I'm stealing that name. Well, what's the list of megas? Do you have it?
Yeah, I sent it as well.
All right, let me see. I'll list these off then. Let me find. Here we go. Okay. So if this is the entire list, or maybe it's not, let me click on the actual link. Central Leaks has final list of all 26 new Mega Evolutions in Pokemon Legends EA. Kanto, Mega Clefable, Mega Starmie, Mega Victory Bell, Mega Dragonite. Johto is Meganium, Feraligatr, Skarmory. That's strange to me. Like, I know they're leaving out Typhlosion because Typhlosion has a regional form.
Yeah.
But still. And then Sinnoh is just Mega Frostlass, Unova, Emboar, Scolipede, Excadrill, Electros, Scrafty, Chandelure, Kalos, Chestnut, Delphox, Greninja. That'd be nice if they finally got their Megas. Pyroar, Malamar, Baracle, Dragalge, Halucha, Eternal Flower Floette, and then Mega Zygarde. I don't think Zygarde needs any more forms, but I guess if it is ZA, they would need to add something for it. And then Alola, Mega Drampa, Galar, Mega Phalanx.
Oh, Mega Phalanx would be lit.
It'd be
like the raccoons in Total Drama Island when they kind of turn into a giant like raccoon.
Oh yeah, where he says there was more than meets the eye. Have there been any major gender differences in Pokemon that have had different megas, or do they have the same mega? Because on this list they have Pyroar, so I'm wondering what that mega would look like. Would it just look like both of the Pyroars?
They would probably like either do genders or kind of like do both, or kind of like make a fusion design or something. I mean, I think they have had megas. I think have been Pokemon that have gender differences, and they just don't show up in the megas. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's it.
I'm reading through the comments here, and somebody's upset that there's no Hoenn listed here, as if Hoenn didn't get a ton of megas already in their own game.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think that's maybe too many megas. Like, not overall in the game, because I imagine all of them are going to come back, but also, like, I'm not holding out hope that they're going to add a ton of new things. Because we talked about the modern Pokemon games with X and Y and Sun and Moon really overdoing it and basically announcing all of the Pokemon before the games came out. X and Y, that was sort of inevitable because that Pokedex was already very short, so even if you show off, 16 Pokemon, that's going to be most of the lines anyway.
Yeah.
And then throughout Sword and Shield's time, I remember this specifically is when I think there were a lot of surprises in Sword and Shield, and I also purposefully avoided most of that in the DLC when they showed off, is it Kiana is her name, maybe, that she had a bow in her hair that looked like it was the shape of a Dustox, but it was white. And I remember everyone saying, like, oh, there's going to be a Galarian Dustox because they showed off the Galarian birds, the Galarian Reggies, and the Galarian Slowpoke line in that trailer. Little did we know that was all of the Galarian forms that were present in the DLC. There were no secrets in there other than, like, legendaries sort of existing. And I expected the same from later games, even though Scarlet and Violet didn't show off nearly as much. I didn't expect there to be any new forms in Legends Arceus that they weren't shown off, because I assumed it was going to be like Sword and Shield DLC, and also that Wound was still fresh. It was only a year prior. But no, that game actually had a lot of Hisuian forms that I didn't expect and wasn't familiar with before going into the game. And I was really excited about that. So we can expect that maybe there will be some surprises in ZA, but also the reason I think, not that the Pokemon Presents is going to be mainly focused on ZA because they don't have other games, but because the game is coming out soon in their eyes. I mean, this is the last chance to show off a bunch of stuff before October. That they showed off a little bit of gameplay in the Direct, in both Directs, and then they announced it, or they expounded on it in the Pokemon Presents. I forgot they announced it last year. That it's been a very long time, and I don't think we've had, other than the Switch 2 Directs, or maybe it was the Switch 1 Direct, where they had a section sort of dedicated to it, there hasn't been a comprehensive Direct like there was for both Mario Kart and... There was a Bonanza Direct, right? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah,
there was. And... I mean, no smoke to Drag X Drive and Welcome Tour, but it seems like ZA is going to be their next major game for the Switch 2. They would want to have another comprehensive video to sell people on it, because, I mean, we like Pokemon. Pokemon's popular. People are going to buy it to spite themselves, but I don't know if there's a ton of people who are on the fence that are super sold about ZA that would probably need a video like that would push them. Because I knew a lot of friends who solely got the Switch 2 so they could play Bonanza because they were so excited for it. I don't know anyone that would buy the Switch 2 to play ZA. Well, you don't even need the Switch 2 to play ZA for that notion. So maybe I'm talking out of my ass, but I feel like the Presence has to be dedicated to ZA, and maybe there's some bombshell they're holding out, like some kind of game mode, some kind of something. I'm just holding out hope that they make me excited for the game, because at this juncture, I feel like I don't really care.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think a significant portion of the what's it called, the presentation is going to be about ZA, but I'm not really expecting it to be the whole thing. I don't know. Game Freak doesn't seem to really do stuff like that. Like, most of their directs are kind of like about Pokemon in general, and they intersperse, you know, the main series news with like little bits. Because I mean, Pokemon is such a big media franchise that there's always like small things coming out. Even though a lot of it is, you know, kind of niche, like not everyone's really a big fan of, you know, that Pokemon Cafe game. It's not like, you know, catching everyone's attention, but they always seem to have stuff like that in the making. So they never, I don't think they ever really kind of focus an entire Pokemon Direct on one game, unless I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure they've never done that.
No, I'm looking through the list right now. I want to see if they have consistent summer Pokemon Presents. They did in 23, because I know they always do it on Pokemon Day. Of course. They had a summer present in 22. They had one in 21. So last year's really the only year they didn't have one. For the summer, at the least. Because I remember that 2019's Nintendo E3 was primarily focused on Sword and Shield. It's where we saw most of the gameplay footage. It's where they played it on the show floor. It's where we got the treehouse footage where they announced that not all the Pokemon were going to come back. I remember that vividly. Because the year before was built all around Smash Ultimate. Yeah. So I would assume that this is the equivalent of like, okay, E3's not around and we're not having a summer direct, so there needs to be a comprehensive look at ZA. And maybe I just wasn't paying attention in the other directs because there was so many other things going on. But I don't know. I think I'm just secretly holding out hope that there's some kind of like mechanic thing that they'll explain in the presents that'll make me more excited. But I think I just need to play it, because it's sort of like the same thing with Bonanza and Mario Kart World, where there were things I was worried about that as soon as it was in my hands, that just melted away immediately.
Yeah. I think there's either going to be a new mechanic they focus on, or they're going to be telling us shit that we already know. It's like, oh yeah, in this game you can throw balls at Pokemon and capture them, and it's gonna like have like a little like title card, capture Pokemon, and they talk about it for like a minute and a half.
Customize your character.
It's like, what? Yeah, I mean that's also pretty likely. I am expecting at least a couple Mega Evolutions though.
Hopefully.
I'd be so bummed out if they don't. But
if they show one Mega that isn't on that list, then we know it's fake. I mean, I'm already assuming that it isn't all there, or maybe it's too much. I don't believe it. Nothing against Central Leaks. You know, if you want to get paid by Twitter, that's on you. It's more about when the Pokemon, like the Game Freak leaks were happening. I think that was last year, if I remember. Man, time flies. That they were mainly just reposting other people's posts, and that's fine. You know, that's what a news account does. But I don't think they are. I don't think Centro is an insider. I think it is just like gathering speculation from around the internet, which is fine. I mean, that's what we do basically, which is why we're covering it here live. That's sort of the dichotomy is that I. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, it might just be nonsense. So I mean, we'll find out. Either way, I mean, I definitely think we're gonna get some new information about Mega Evolutions. If not, I'm gonna be like so bummed out.
You don't think they're gonna? I mean, they're gonna probably get more information about games that already exist. You don't think there's gonna be a game that's announced that this presents? I run that, but you don't think there's gonna? I think I cut out a little bit. Did I?
Yeah, you did.
I saw my guy stop jumping. You don't think there's gonna be another announcement of this?
Another announcement? Yeah, sorry, you keep like...
Yeah, I saw him stop talking. Yeah, another announcement at the Presents. At the Presents! Sorry.
Yeah, you kept cutting out.
Do you think there's going to be another announcement for anything?
I don't think there's going to be anything for like any new games. I mean, at least like not any new games that people are like chopping at the bit for. Like, I don't think we're going to get Gen 10.
Black and White 3.
If they do, maybe remakes, but I don't know. Actually, I mean, now that I think about it, like if they had like a remake in the making, like now would be the time. But
to me, ZA fills really that remake slot, as did Arceus.
Well, Arceus came out 2 months after Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl.
I feel like that was a backup plan. Like they were really hesitant about Arceus, so they're like, yeah, just release traditional remakes that we outsource.
Yeah, potentially. That might have been a fluke, because really we got like hella Pokemon games in just 1 year. We got Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, followed by Arceus, followed by Scarlet and Violet. Really,
Arceus and Scarlet and Violet were the same year. It doesn't feel like it at all.
Oh, it totally does.
They were on opposite ends. All I've seen from the presents is I've seen an image or two images of Pikachu's at a DJ station, and one of them has green glasses with leaves on it and red glasses with fire on it. So the fire is red and the leaf is green. I don't think this means anything, because they always do this. People always say like, oh man, they got Lugia in the background of this Pokemon Presents. That has to mean something. I feel like they don't leave hints like maybe Nintendo
I don't think
does.
they do.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
But I'm not holding out for Gen 10 or another major game, but I do think it's possible that, because next year is their, 30th anniversary? Does that math make sense? Yeah, I think 30th anniversary.
Yeah.
I do think there's a chance that we do get a lot of older Pokemon games on NSO.
Mm-hmm.
So if their major announcement is like Fire Red and Leaf Green coming to the Switch, then fine. That's something, I guess. It's weird that they're not there already.
Mm-hmm.
That would be like them to just announce those two. But
yeah, so I mean, we might have something kind of cool show up, but I'm not like super convinced.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it's mostly I think the most like I can really hope for is just some new fun information on Legends ZA.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna. Oh man, I don't know. I'm not apprehensive, because that makes it seem like I'm like on the fence about getting it. But yeah, I'm not waking up for it. I could say that much, but I hardly ever do for Pokemon Presents. We shall see how it shapes out. But beyond that, we now have Bonanza. we're waiting for Metroid or Kirby Air Riders. It'll be fun to go into the next year and see what kind of stuff there is, because I feel like we
Yeah.
sort of knew everything about this year. But once that is up, once we have more information about that, I mean, we could talk about that on the next pod. I feel like for this week, we've already gone over everything ahead of time. We don't have super deep predictions about the presents because the direct was fun. The direct bingo, because it really could have been anything. We didn't know anything about the Switch 2. And that's where they announced Bonanza, I believe. But it's either we know everything about ZA or there's nothing they could really say that would change anything. So I don't
Yeah.
it's not worth making a bingo card for that, because it's probably then we're just
Yeah.
getting our hopes up.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough things that we're really holding out for that could fill up a whole bingo card.
Mm-hmm. There's a ton of things.
Like, there might be a couple
go
cool things, but I can't think of 25 predictions I'd make about ZA.
It's gonna be $20. They're gonna have an amiibo. I'll lock in that. I think they're gonna have an. Well, no, only the Switch 2 game. No, Mario Kart didn't have an amiibo. I don't know. I have nothing. I have nothing to add to
Pokemon
this.
games usually have amiibos. I don't think they do.
No, they don't. They should make an amiibo for each Pokemon. They did
Yeah.
for Rumble U, but that wasn't all of them. But yeah, I don't think we have anything more to add to that. There was a lot of, while I was on my 2-week break, a lot of movies I watched. I think it was 28 Years Later and Megan 2.0 and Jurassic World Rebirth. And I can give like reviews of each of those, but maybe I'll hold off and just the ranking later. I accidentally had a very strong opinionated tweet about Rick and Morty that also popped off for an episode I didn't even see yet. Now I'm caught up on that. I think by next week I should be done with like the Moon Girls and the Stugo and all that. And I saw Eddington, and I don't have nearly as strong opinions as everyone else does. I enjoyed it. But overall, I think that's really all we had to talk about today.
Oh yeah,
I think
pretty much. I mean,
yeah, on Bonanza, we just fall that it's good, and we both want to play more. Hopefully, over the next week, we'll have the opportunity.
I'm excited.
To do
I'm
so.
probably gonna I'm hoping to really binge it over the next few days.
Mm-hmm. We got to get to that secret at the very least. I know that crocodile's hidden in there, so we could be proven right or wrong. But I'll try and get more intel about Mario Party, see if I can talk about that. I don't think that'll have any major changes that me be like, oh man, this is the killer app. I think Bonanza's going to hold us for a while. I did want to say overall that I think I was more excited for Bonanza than I was for Mario Kart, even though for this show, it's more fun to discuss Mario Kart because that is a very linear way of discussing things. Like with Bonanza, there's only so much you could say about like, oh, that's why we resorted so much to talking about K. Rool, just because it's sort of dumb fun, as opposed to being like, oh, I think this level happens here, or you can do this move, or you get this upgrade. Whereas Mario Kart, it's pretty strict, like Smash Bros, where there's stages, characters, songs that you can place from other places that are a lot more fun and streamlined to discuss. Whereas, don't let this show deceive you. I was way more excited for Bonanza, and I think I like Bonanza more. Would you say the same?
Yeah, definitely. Like Bonanza for me is the game that's gonna make the Nintendo Switch 2 worth having.
It's the game of the year.
I definitely like what's it called, a Mario Kart World, but it doesn't like it's not making what's the word? That doesn't make the Nintendo Switch 2 like something totally worth $500 for. You know.
I think we're still very early, and the excitement of the console launch is fun. But I think I am, maybe this is sad, but more looking forward to see what they got next year. Because I feel like now we kind of know everything. Unless there's a bunch of shit they announce in a later direct. But for right now, I think we only have this handful of games. And at a certain point, we're going to become a Kirby Air Riders channel, I suppose. But at least for today, we talked about Bonanza. I think there were some little sprinkles of information in there that I bookmarked and then forgot to talk about. I want to say real quick, Nintrome was the company, not the people who made Snipper Clips. And the game is called... Is it just called Mousework? Yeah, Mousework. I'm excited for that. A little indie game. I've been getting a lot more into Deltarune, but as far as games go this year, I went throughout most of the year, because I went back to play the new Astrobot levels after last pod, and it was making me realize that as soon as I played Astrobot and saw Astrobot, I knew it was going to be my game of 24. That I feel like up until Bonanza, I didn't really feel that way about anything. Like, there wasn't anything I played, I'm like, oh man, this is the one. even though I liked most of them. I think Bonanza might be that, and I think it's going to be hard for these other games to top. Even it depends on what you count as Deltarune chapters, if you count those as different games or not. But overall, I
Yeah.
really love Bonanza. I'm sure I'll have a lot more to say as I play it more. I'm arguably have more to say about Bonanza next time, more so than Mario Party. But I'm not expecting more
Yeah.
from Pokemon. I don't think either of us are. We'll see if that checklist is correct. Thank you for sending it my way. But at least for tonight, I have been your co-parent, BH Ultra.
And I have been your co-parent, Switchy.
Do you have any updates on Pocket Tail? I feel like we got to check back in every
No.
week just to be
Long
sure.
It's probably not going to be done by the time by the end of the summer. Like this isn't going to be a Switchy summer. Like it's the most like visually. I mean, it's not only the longest script I've ever done. It's also like the most visually intense thing I've ever done.
I love
so yeah,
that.
I mean, it's yeah, really.
Yeah, I love when people, maybe just because I feel sort of restricted on making videos a certain way. I love when somebody's making a video and they kind of use it as an excuse to do a short film.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be big. It's gonna be big. I mean, I definitely think that when it eventually comes out, because yeah. I'm not like, it's either make the Pacateo Island video, as long as I'm alive, the Pacateo Island video is eventually gonna come out.
Mm-hmm.
But it is, it's definitely demanding, and yeah, I mean, it definitely like, and I started this in January, by the way. This wasn't a thing that I kind of procrastinated on. I started earlier than usual. But yeah, no, it's just a very intense video. I'm excited about it. I think when it eventually comes out, it'll be worth the wait.
It
But,
will encompass 2025. We've been covering it every week on this pod, and then we'll have a post show afterwards on this show.
Oh, yeah.
Much to discuss. Well, a little creator commentary. We'll open up the Q&A to the floor. I'm currently working on my yearly Total Drama video, and I feel the same way, even though this is just like the monthly thing, that I dedicate all of my time to streaming and doing YouTube, so I'm trying to use my YouTube show as an excuse to do other more creative things. So I'm using the Total Drama video that I more or less have to make. That's an over-explanation. Like, I like making them. Nobody's forcing my hand. I wanted to do it yearly because I like doing it. But I didn't want to do just another Total Drama video like, oh, let's do another theory. I feel like I've done that to death. That I wanted to cover a topic that is a framing device I've wanted to do a lot, that the fandom just changes, that I think it suits Total Drama the best, that I used as an excuse to buy a bunch of self-indulgent stuff and build a set for, that I believe will look visually interesting. It's going to be really hit or miss. People will either think it looks really cool or think that I made the video look bad on purpose. Either way, I'm excited to see how it pans out. We're both working on Total Drama right now. But perhaps Switchy Autumn, perhaps?
Hopefully.
We shall see.
Switchy September. I don't know. I really can't say.
Never forget.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining me. We'll have more to discuss on our later dates. This is a nice little, I don't like calling things sleep aid, but sorry we're not screaming in your ear. I'm going to hang up now.
All right, bye.
Later. Let me play my funky music.